Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today we are absolutely dismantling a universal myth. This totally ingrained idea that getting more done somehow means doing more things. We've all been there, right? Running around all day but feeling perpetually behind. But here's the secret. The most successful people out there don't magically have a 25-hour day. They simply refuse to play the volume game. So let's dive into the architecture of intentional productivity. Here's our roadmap for today. We're going to quickly cover 1, the busy trap, 2, the 80-20 rule, 3, mastering time blocking, 4, managing your attention, and 5, the path to consistency. Our main goal here is to help you shift your mindset from trying to do absolutely everything to consistently doing the right things.
All right, let's jump straight into section 1, the busy trap, the illusion of doing more.
You know the feeling all too well, right? You're frantically answering emails, bouncing between a dozen different tasks, and by 5 p.m., you are just totally wiped out, but you haven't actually finished anything meaningful. We constantly get tricked into thinking being busy is the exact same thing as being productive, but it's totally not. Productivity is measured by making meaningful progress on your actual priorities, not just checking minor chores off a list. Working all day long on low-value activities, that's just an illusion of productivity. Okay, let's dive into our first major solution. Section 2, the 80-20 rule, also known as the Pareto principle. This right here is a massive mindset shift. The Pareto principle actually comes from an Italian economist who noticed that just 20% of the pea pods in his garden produced 80% of the peas. It's kind of wild, but it reveals this really fascinating reality about our own work. Roughly 80% of your results are generated by just 20% of your efforts. Think about what that actually means. It means your to-do list is basically lying to you. Not every task deserves equal attention. A select few activities genuinely move the needle for you, while the rest, they just keep you busy. Because of that reality, we have to totally change the very first question we ask ourselves every single morning. Do not wake up and ask, what should I do today? That just invites a flood of random chores to take over your brain. Instead, you've got to ask yourself, which task will make the biggest difference today? Once you have that answer, that is exactly where you focus your energy first. When you really think about the sheer weight of that tiny 20% chunk of your efforts, it makes total sense. Just a few hours spent on the right priorities accomplishes vastly more than an entire day spent grinding away on low-value stuff. You don't need to find more hours in the day. You just need to aim your efforts directly at the high-impact stuff. Moving smoothly into Section 3, mastering time blocking, deciding in advance. So how do we actually execute that 80-20 rule mechanically? The answer is time blocking. Once you figure out what your vital 20% is, you literally assign specific hours of your day to those specific activities, period. Rather than waking up and just kind of working randomly or playing whack-a-mole with every request that comes your way, you decide in advance exactly what you are going to do and when. Let's walk through a real-world example from our source material to see how this plays out in practice. Notice how incredibly calm and deliberate this schedule feels. 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., that is reserved strictly for your most important work. That is your sacred 20% time. Then, at 10:30, you dedicate a specific half-hour block just to process emails. You aren't checking them obsessively all morning. And then much later in the evening, 7 p.m. is blocked out to learn a new skill. There's zero guesswork here. The entire day is designed with pure intention. I absolutely love this quote from the text, and I want to really emphasize the word protect here. When you protect these blocks of time, you become more focused, more disciplined, and far more productive. Listen, your time is one of your absolute greatest assets. You have to guard it like a hawk. If you don't fiercely protect that 8 a.m. block for your most important work, trust me, the busy world will gladly swoop in and steal it from you. Now for a pretty crucial plot twist. Section 4, managing your attention, the real battleground. Here's the thing. The most beautifully color-coded, time-blocked schedule in the world is going to completely fail if you don't fight off the real enemies of productivity. We're talking social media, endless notifications, unnecessary meetings, and the myth of multitasking. In our modern, notification-obsessed culture, we are basically inviting a dozen digital toddlers to tap us on the shoulder all day long. And every single time you're interrupted, your brain is forced to totally restart its focus. That restart costs massive amounts of precious time and energy. You aren't just losing the 10 seconds it takes to check a text message, you are losing the deep focus you just spent 20 minutes building up. It really comes down to this clear divide. Amateurs focus almost entirely on managing their time, but highly successful people? They manage their attention. When you are in one of those important time blocks, you literally have to silence your phone, close all those extra browser tabs, and create a physical and digital environment where deep work can actually survive. All right, let's bring it all home with Section 5, the path to consistency, daily habits for long-term success. So, how do we make all of these frameworks actually stick without putting immense pressure on ourselves to have a flawless schedule every single day? It's all about consistency. Here is a highly actionable daily operating procedure you can literally start tomorrow. Step 1. Identify your top 3 priorities first thing every morning. Step 2. Block out the time to work on them completely without interruption. Remember, manage that attention. Step 3. At the end of the day, do a quick review of your progress and prep for tomorrow. It is these tiny daily habits, repeated consistently, that inevitably stack up into remarkable long-term success. So, the crucial point is this. You have a choice every single day. You can spend your hours drowning in what we call the trivial many, the busy work, the endless emails, all the random distractions. Or you can choose to focus intensely on the vital few things that actually push your life forward. Once you master the 80-20 rule and time blocking, you become infinitely more effective. I really want you to let this quote sink in for a second. Your dreams don't become reality through wishful thinking. They become reality through disciplined action. Every single day is an opportunity to invest your time in what truly matters. You have the power to take control, to stop just reacting to whatever the world throws at you, and to actually start building the exact life you've always envisioned. As we wrap up this explainer, I'm going to leave you with one final thought to chew on. Success is absolutely not about doing more things. I challenge you to take a look at your schedule for today. Look at the very next hour of your life. Ask yourself right now, are you just doing things to feel busy, or are you doing the right things at the right time consistently? Because your future is shaped entirely by how you spend your hours today. Let's make sure we're using them intentionally.